Hello, everybody. We continue reading the book Take Back Your Life by Dale Burke. Choice number one: stop climbing. Start down the ladder to success. We live in a driven culture. The monster called my life loves to drive, and the faster the better. It has convinced many of us to push the pedal to the metal and ignore all speed limits. That's why so many of us are living in the fast lane. Some of us are driven to get the checkered flag and finish first. Others of us aren't driven to finish first. We're just trying to keep up with the person ahead while not getting passed by the maniac riding our bumper. We feel trapped, boxed into the fast lane of the freeway with no exit in sight. After all, if everyone else is driving this fast, do we really have a choice? Sure, we could pull over and quit the race. But who can afford that? The bills have to be paid, and no one wants to be left behind. So we keep accelerating in the hope that we won't get run over. Years ago, we jumped into the race with a vision of winning and enjoying the good life in the winner's circle. Now the goal has shifted from victory to mere survival. Just make it around the next turn and enjoy an occasional pit stop along the way. We'll live for that next long weekend of rest. We'll live for that next long weekend of rest. We drive hard with our sights set on our next vacation, which is just around the bend. These brief stops are fun, but seldom fulfilling. And before we know it, the pit crew pushes us back into the race, whether we are ready or not. So, with white knuckles, we grasp the wheel, put the pedal to the metal, and resume the insanity. But does life have to be lived under such intense pressure? Shouldn't it be more like a joyful journey, a challenging yet fulfilling road trip? Shouldn't our daily journey make us better people, move us toward our goals, and allow us to live with a measure of sanity? In short, can we pursue our dreams without having our life become a nightmare? The answer is an undeniable yes. Climbing down to move up. We all want to climb the ladder, move up in life, and achieve some goals that were once only dreams. And there is nothing wrong with a life that aspires to greatness. But living to climb the ladder of success can be frustrating. It seems the higher you go, the longer the ladder gets. The rungs above you, just out of reach, always seem to increase in number. So you climb faster, striving for the top. Yet the top never comes, and you wonder if you're making any progress at all. I've been there, so I know the feeling. And many of the people I talk to today say, Dale, my life is too fast, too complex, too out of control. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. What can we do to restore some sanity to our lives? Do we have to give up on our dreams and goals and settle for mediocrity in order to live a balanced life? Or can we go for it, stay in the race, chase our dreams during the day, and still sleep well at night? These are the questions I hope to answer in this book. There is a better way to climb the ladder or run the race before you. Jesus Christ is the ultimate role model of a balanced person who also happened to be the most visionary leader in human history. Jesus was not one to settle for mediocrity. With a handful of followers, he launched a global movement called the Church. We're talking a huge goal here. And yet, he did not overload his life or stress himself out as he pursued his dream. Was he successful? Absolutely. Was he great? The greatest man who ever lived. Was he out of control, exhausted, and living for the next weekend? Not at all. He pursued and achieved great things, but he did so by using a radically different approach to greatness. The paradoxical secret to greatness. The way God defines real success is somewhat of a paradox. It's what I call the humility paradox. As we work our way through this book, I believe you'll agree that humility is a key thread that runs through much of what the Bible teaches about pursuing and enjoying real success. What God teaches about greatness is radically different from what our culture declares. God says that to be great, you must be a servant and climb down the ladder to success. When we view the true success from God's perspective, we discover that it's found at the bottom of the ladder rather than at the top. The paradox is that you can be at the top of your organization, the best in your profession, and at the bottom of the ladder at the same time. Even more surprising is that climbing down actually speeds up your ascent to be the best that you can be. I think, for example, of the interaction between Jesus and Mary and Martha in Luke chapter 10, when Jesus said, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about so many things." Verse 41. He had to repeat her name because she was complaining, stressed out about being too busy, and wouldn't shut up. Many of us today find ourselves in the same place as Martha. We're doing everything we possibly can to move up to the next rung of the ladder of success. Like Martha, we're worried and bothered about so many things. Now, I don't believe Jesus was suggesting to Martha or to us that we should just drop out of life, chill out, and not seek to achieve anything. That wasn't his point. He wasn't against excellence or a job well done. Notice carefully what he said in Matthew 20:26. Whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant. Jesus had nothing against his disciples' desires to be great. He desired the very best for them as well as for us. Anyone who follows Jesus should indeed become a better person, beyond the norm, even great. Jesus desires not just the good life, but the great life for his followers. Yet he is concerned about our approach to greatness and our definition of success. He surprised, even shocked, his disciples by declaring that the path to authentic greatness is through servanthood, through humility. Our Lord's words were spoken in the course of a discussion with the disciples about who would have the most important leadership positions in the kingdom. The mother of James and John had approached Jesus and asked if her sons could sit in the seats to the right and left of Christ's throne. The other disciples became upset when they heard about this request and apparently got vocal about it. That's when Jesus stepped in and said, in essence, your approach to success is all wrong. Whoever wants to be great must be a servant. This truth applies to us too. We think success comes from climbing up the ladder, but God calls us to climb down, not to descend into failure, but success. Not to climb down and abandon the pursuit of our goals, but to climb down in order to achieve our goals. Serving with humility is in fact a key ingredient of successful living. Matthew 20:26 isn't the only place in the Bible where we find true greatness linked to humility. Consider the following passages. Matthew 18:4. Whoever then humbles himself as this child, he is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 23:11. The greatest among you shall be your servant. 1 Peter 5:5 and 6. You younger men likewise, be subject to your elders, and all of you clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, for God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you at the proper time,